silent mistakes that make seniors lose independence, and how to stay in control. Have you ever caught yourself hesitating before getting out of a chair, or second-guessing whether you should walk across the street alone? For many people over 65, these little hesitations creep in quietly. They don't arrive all at once with some big warning sign. Instead, they build slowly, and before you know it, they begin to chip away at something deeply precious, your independence. And let's be honest, independence is more than just the ability to do things on your own. It's about dignity, freedom, confidence, and the joy of living life on your own terms. Losing it is one of the greatest fears many seniors face. But here's the encouraging truth: it doesn't have to happen. Most of the time, independence isn't lost overnight. It slips away through silent mistakes, choices and habits that seem harmless at first but quietly weaken your body, your mind, and your confidence. That's why today's conversation is so important. We're going to uncover 4 silent mistakes that cause many older adults to lose their independence, and more importantly, we'll talk about what you can do to stay strong, confident, and in control. Because no matter your age, you deserve to live with freedom, dignity, and the peace of knowing that your life is still very much your own. Let's begin with one of the most common, yet least recognized mistakes: not paying enough attention to balance. It's something most people don't think about until a fall happens. And yet, falls are one of the leading reasons older adults lose their independence. A single slip can result in injuries that take months to recover from, or worse, injuries that permanently limit what you're able to do. The tricky part is that balance doesn't disappear suddenly. It declines slowly, almost invisibly. One day you might notice you're holding onto the handrail a little tighter than before, or you feel less steady when bending down. If ignored, this gradual loss of stability can steal away your confidence to move freely. But here's the good news: balance can be trained, just like strength or flexibility. Simple daily practices, standing on one leg while brushing your teeth, walking heel to toe across the living room, or even practicing gentle yoga, can reawaken your body's natural sense of steadiness. I remember speaking with a woman in her 70s who started doing just 5 minutes of balance exercises each morning. Within months, she said she felt lighter on her feet, less fearful of falling, and more confident doing everyday tasks. She told me, "I feel like I got my freedom back." And that's exactly the point. Protecting your balance isn't about exercise for exercise's sake. It's about keeping your world open and your choices in your own hands. Now, while balance is crucial, another silent mistake often creeps in through what happens, or rather, what doesn't happen, in our daily routines: avoiding strength training. Many people assume that once you're past 65, building muscle doesn't matter anymore. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Muscles aren't just for athletes or young people, they're the foundation of independence. They help you stand up from a chair, carry groceries, climb stairs, or even open a stubborn jar. Without regular strength training, muscles weaken over time, and when they do, even simple activities begin to feel overwhelming. That's when dependence on others starts to sneak in, often quietly, until you suddenly realize how much you've given up. The beautiful thing is that your muscles are ready to respond at any age. Even small amounts of strength training make a remarkable difference. You don't need fancy equipment or heavy weights. Using resistance bands, light dumbbells, or even your own body weight with movements like squats against a chair or wall push-ups can rebuild strength in ways that directly support your independence. I once knew a gentleman in his 80s who began with just 5 chair stands a day, literally standing up from his chair without using his hands. At first, it was tough, but little by little, he got stronger. He told me later that being able to get off the couch without help made him feel like himself again. That's what strength does. It restores not just your body, but your confidence. When you think about it, these first 2 mistakes, ignoring balance and neglecting strength, go hand in hand. Balance gives you confidence, while strength gives you the power to act on that confidence. Together, they create a foundation that allows you to keep doing the things you love, whether it's playing with grandchildren, traveling, or simply enjoying your daily routine without fear or hesitation. And when you begin to work on them consistently, you'll notice something powerful: you start to feel in control again. Now that we've explored how balance and strength affect your independence, let's shift to another silent mistake, one that doesn't have to do with the body directly, but can be just as dangerous to your freedom as any physical decline. One of the quietest threats to independence isn't always physical, it's the tendency to withdraw from social life. Many seniors don't notice it happening because it often starts small. Maybe you stop going to the community center because it feels like too much effort. Maybe you decline an invitation because you're feeling tired. Maybe you tell yourself you'll call a friend tomorrow, and then tomorrow never comes. Over time, these little decisions add up, and before you know it, your circle shrinks. Isolation is dangerous, not just emotionally, but physically. When you spend too much time alone, your motivation begins to fade. You're less likely to eat balanced meals, less likely to stay active, and less likely to challenge your mind. Loneliness has been shown to raise the risk of heart disease, memory problems, and even shorten lifespan. And yet, many people think it's simply a normal part of aging. It's not. Staying socially connected is one of the strongest predictors of whether you'll maintain independence well into your later years. I once met a man who lived alone after his wife passed away. At first, he stopped going to his weekly card games because it didn't feel the same without her. But then, weeks turned into months, and his world became very small. He started relying on his adult children for little tasks he used to do himself, not because he couldn't, but because he didn't feel motivated. Eventually, at his daughter's encouragement, he began attending a local senior book club. What surprised him most wasn't just the conversations about books, but the laughter, the teasing, the small sense of belonging that reminded him life could still be fun. Within months, his energy improved, he started cooking proper meals again, and he said he felt 10 years younger. That's the power of connection. It breathes life back into the routines that keep you independent. Connection doesn't have to mean big social events or constant activity. It can be as simple as calling a friend once a week, joining a walking group, or even striking up a conversation with a neighbor. Technology, too, has opened doors. Video calls, online classes, even social media can bridge distances and keep your mind engaged. The important part isn't how you connect, it's that you do it consistently. Social ties remind you that you're part of something larger, and that sense of belonging strengthens your will to stay active, healthy, and independent. Alongside the risk of isolation, another silent mistake often undermines independence, ignoring small health issues until they become big ones. It's easy to shrug off aches, stiffness, or little changes in your body. You tell yourself, oh, it's just age, or I'll deal with it later. But what starts as a minor issue, like skipping a checkup, overlooking changes in vision, or dismissing persistent fatigue, can grow into a serious problem that suddenly limits what you can do. For example, something as simple as poor vision can quietly take away independence. If you can't see clearly, driving becomes risky, cooking feels less safe, and even walking around the house carries a higher chance of tripping. I once spoke with a woman who delayed getting her glasses updated for years. She admitted she felt embarrassed about needing stronger lenses. Then one evening, she missed a step in her own home and suffered a fracture that took months to recover from. Later, she told me with tears in her eyes that she wished she'd just gone for the exam sooner. That's how silent these mistakes can be. They don't just affect your body, they ripple into your freedom and confidence. It's not just vision. Hearing loss, untreated high blood pressure, unmanaged diabetes, or skipping dental checkups, all of these can quietly chip away at independence. The irony is that many of these issues are manageable when addressed early, but devastating if ignored. Taking action doesn't mean you're weak or losing control, it means you're choosing to stay in control. Regular checkups, listening to your body, and addressing problems promptly are some of the strongest tools you have to protect your independence. When you think about it, independence is built on awareness of your body, your routines, your social world, and your needs. The more you pay attention and act early, the more freedom you preserve. And while we've already talked about balance, strength, social connection, and early attention to health, there's still one more area we need to explore. It's not always obvious, but it has the power to determine how confidently you face each day and whether you feel capable of managing your own life. The final silent mistake that so often robs people of independence has nothing to do with strength, or diet, or even medical checkups. It has to do with mindset. Many seniors, without realizing it, begin to underestimate themselves. They start to believe they can't handle certain tasks, or that it's safer to let someone else do it for them. At first, it seems harmless. Maybe you ask your son to carry the groceries in, or you let your daughter handle your bills because she offers. Over time, those little decisions pile up, and what was once just help becomes dependence. The mind is incredibly powerful. When you believe you can't do something, your body follows. The more you avoid, the less you attempt. The less you attempt, the less capable you become. And soon, it's not just a belief, it's your reality. I once met a man in his 70s who had stopped cooking for himself because he was afraid of cutting himself with a knife. For months he lived on packaged snacks and microwave meals. His health began to suffer, his weight dropped, and he felt weaker every day. It wasn't his body that failed him first, it was his confidence. Once he began working with a friend to relearn safe cooking habits, his strength returned, and so did his sense of pride. This mistake is silent because it sneaks in under the disguise of safety or convenience. Family members mean well, of course. They want to help, and sometimes it is necessary. But the line between help and overhelping is thin. Accepting support when you truly need it is wise, but giving up responsibilities too quickly can send a message to yourself, I can't. And once you start telling yourself that, independence begins to slip away. The way to fight this isn't through denial, it's through courage. Courage to keep trying, even if it takes longer. Courage to learn new ways of doing things if your body has changed. Courage to ask for tools or adjustments that allow you to keep doing things on your own. Maybe that means using a jar opener, a walker, or magnifying glasses. These aren't signs of weakness, they're signs of determination. They're proof that you still value your independence enough to protect it. When you put all of this together, caring for your balance, building strength, staying socially connected, addressing small health issues early, and protecting your confidence, you begin to see the bigger picture. Independence isn't just luck, and it's not something that disappears automatically with age. It's something you can nurture, defend, and grow through daily choices. And the beauty of it is this: you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to exercise like an athlete, eat like a nutritionist, or manage every single health number flawlessly. What matters most is consistency and awareness. The little things you do every day, the small decisions you make to keep moving, keep connecting, and keep believing in yourself, that's what adds up. That's what keeps your world wide open, instead of shrinking. So, as you're listening right now, I want you to take a quiet moment and ask yourself, which of these silent mistakes has been sneaking into your life? Have you let your balance slip without realizing it? Have you avoided strengthening your body because you thought it was too late? Have you pulled away from friends, or ignored health checkups, or doubted yourself more than you should? If so, remember this: nothing is permanent. You can begin to change today. One step, one call, one small decision to believe in your own strength again, it all matters. Your independence is not just about living longer, it's about living better. It's about walking into each day with confidence, knowing that you can care for yourself, that your life is still your own, and that your choices are still in your hands. You have more control than you may think, and you always have the ability to take it back. If this message speaks to you, I'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments one change you're going to make this week to strengthen your independence. Maybe it's starting a short daily walk, calling a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, scheduling that long overdue eye exam, or simply reminding yourself every morning, I am capable. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs. And if you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. This channel is here to give you the tools, the motivation, and the inspiration to live your best life at any age. Because getting older doesn't mean giving up control, it means choosing, every day, to protect your freedom, your dignity, and your joy. Here's to you, and to the life you deserve, strong, independent, and full of possibilities.